Anything is possible.
Hello and welcome to another video from Sandra at Sandra's Stampin' Craft Studio. Now today I'm going to be making a cutie little origami box and I'm trying to do it in 15 minutes. So let's get down onto the table and I'll show you what we're making. Okay, here I have a piece of designer series paper that's cut to 9 inches by 9 inches. And then behind that I have 2 pieces of Whisper White thick card at 3 inches square and 1 piece of the same designer series paper at 2 3/4 inch square. Okay, so I'm going to set those aside for one moment and we're going to get this piece here. So the side that you want to be predominant, you need to face downwards onto the desk. We're going to fold it in half and burnish this with our bone folder. And then the other way, the opposite direction, in half again. So that's in quarters now. One of those is going to go diagonally. Now the best way is to get the points even at the top here and to bring your finger right down into the middle and then just go out to the right and to the left. And you should find that they are perfectly on the corners. We need to fold that inside out and we need to fold it again the opposite direction. So there's our square. Now these two where they're dented inwards, think of this a bit like an alien and it's going to come in from the 4 corners and we're just going to pull those ends together here and we're going to flatten it. Okay, so there is our quarter piece of paper. Now the mouth is here, the mouth is open and it's this side here facing towards me. So I'm going to quickly just bend that over on the center line to give a little crease so I know where I'm heading for. This bottom piece is going to remain the point and I'm going to come up to that center line just there. So I'm going to bring that up there, making sure that I keep this one as tight as I can on that point. Because our paper is such good quality, it can be a little bit difficult to match those all up perfectly. Now this one's going to come over and go exactly the same. It is good if you have nails and you can actually hold that into the corner. And then we're going to flatten that down the whole length there, keeping those together and burnish that with our bone folder again. Now we're going to flip it over, do exactly the same. So the open end is here. Pinch that to make a little dent in the center there and we're going to pinpoint this bottom piece here and come up to the center line. A bit like making a kite, or the shape of a kite should I say. So that's the shape, and where this point is here, I'm going to keep my nail in there and bring that in to meet the other one. Okay, so they're both coming in square there, and then I can run my bone folder down that outside edge. Okay, so there are our 4 pieces, and now we're going to stick the finger in that gap there and flatten that out. Now every time you see the crease here down the middle, you're going to bring that in line with this piece coming down here. Okay, so bone folder to hand again. So insert finger into the right up to the point there and flatten this piece down. Okay, like so. Flip the whole thing over and do exactly the same. So you're going to flatten that and flatten this. How are we doing on the time? 3 minutes 38 gone so far. There we go, and we're going to flatten that. Now these ones, when they've been flattened, this is actually going to turn outwards so they go the other side like so. So it's making it nice and even all the way down. Okay, and we're going to turn this over. Think of pages like a book. So we're going to turn that one in and these two are both going to come back on themselves. So I like to press this down everywhere as I go. So they're the 2 new ones with face going the other way now. So the whole thing is now going to turn around and I'm going to have these 2 points here. So this is a little flap, and where these 2 points are here, I'm going to bring that down. So the point should be on your fold, your creased line. And then we're going to turn the pages like a book and do that on all 4 sides. So where these 2 marks are, flick that down, making sure these points line up. And then the same here. Bring those 2 down, burnish the back of that. And then we have 1 more left on the back to bring that down like so. And we are at 4 minutes and 47 seconds. That is the bottom of our box. So you can see how that's going to open out now. We want to be very careful. Stampin' Up's Designer Series paper is very thick. It's very robust. So I'm just poking my finger just inside the box there and teasing these lines out, just stroking along those inner lines to turn that. I'm not squashing anything flat. I'm just teasing the shape out just from the inside. Okay, so they're all out now, and I'm just making sure those corners are nice and even. Okay, and there is our little box. Okay, now the edges of this you don't flatten that. You don't want creases along there. You want it to be a nice rounded effect. 5 minutes and 39. There we go. I'm going to put some tear and tape here down the centre of these on the back. It's easier to turn the whole thing over and just run round with your tear and tape. Place that down the middle, and I do let it run off the tip of that. Okay, we can tuck those pieces under when we finish. So hopefully you can see this. I have, of course, made loads of these, so if you are watching this and thinking I can't keep up, you will be able to go back and play it on replay. So I have my take your pick tool. This step is going to be the longest, I think, getting the backing tape off the pieces I want to use. So I've pulled off one piece here. Where these pieces overlap over the sides, you can just tuck those back underneath. Okay, so I'm going to grab hold of one of the sides here. I'm just going to gently nip that round and over that corner. So I can just see that little piece under there. I'm just wrapping that underneath. And then I'm going to take that tip and it's going to go round onto the bottom of the box. Okay, so that's one side finished. Okay, so I'm going to do the same with the other three sides. I take my pick tool, take the tape off, and I'm going to just squeeze the edge of that box, just teasing that round to the bottom, and just mark those pieces, the overhang pieces just tucked underneath, and we're going to turn that round and over the bottom. Okay, and the third one, just flick that off, and the same. So gripping that along the edge of the box. You don't want to stretch it because it won't sit nicely. Just gently teasing that along. Tuck those rough pieces of adhesive under and round onto the bottom. And then the last one. Okay. Sticking to me. That's the static. So grab hold of that box and I'm just going to tease that around there. Just bringing those two pieces of tape underneath and wrapping that round under the bottom. So the bottom is quite neat. So I like to stand that up like so, and I'm going to press on those 4 points that are underneath. I'm not making the box square along the edges. I'm just pressing where the tape is on those tips to make sure that that's all nice and secure there. So that is 8 minutes and 11 seconds, and we have the bottom of our box is done. Okay, so that's the first piece. The next piece, I'm going to take one of my 3-inch pieces of card here, and I'm going to score it on all 4 sides at 1 centimetre. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So again, those edges need to be burnished, folded inwards with your bone folder. So I need to snip these corners. So I'm going to snip 2 sides this way and 2 sides this way, opposite. Okay, now my pet saying is taper the tabs. So I like to push the middle section under and I taper these very, very slightly with my snips, my paper snips. So I'm making it the shape of a flower pot. Somebody mentioned to me once it looks like a flower pot and it's stuck. So I do taper the tabs. So this side as well, I'm going to tuck in the big piece and I'm going to taper that very, very slightly because this is a small box. We're making basically like a lid. It's the inside of the lid, but it's going to be upside down. So very slightly take a little shave off there and a shave off there. Okay, all of those onto the floor. And then I bring over my Tombow. These are so tiny, all they need is a little dot of Tombow on there and there. Okay, so this is the inside of our box. I'm going to just grip that one tightly, just for a few seconds, and then this one here. Tuck that under, just for a few seconds. It wants to be nice and square on those corners. So that's 2 corners done nicely. And then we're going to do the same with these 2. Okay, so we'll have those 2 corners in there. A little dot of glue on there. Little dot of glue on there. How are we? We're on 10 minutes and nearly 10 and a half minutes. So we're going to tuck that one under and hold that one just for a few seconds. Our Tombow multi-purpose adhesive does give us that bit of wiggle room, but you need to have nice square corners because it's going to sit inside our box. Okay, so while that sets fully, I'm going to bring back my little pricky mat here. And I'm going to adhere my designer series paper onto the lid here. You can use whichever side you like. You can use the patterned or the front side or the back side, whichever you like, because they're all going to complement. And you remember your box, you can see both sides of that. This is just going to sit in the center there. Now I need a ruler and a pencil, and I'm going to just mark where the middle is. So on the back of this, I'm just going to put a little cross in the middle. It's going to be covered up. Don't go toward both ends. You don't need all of that. You'll see it on the inside. So you just want the little bit where they cross over in the middle. Now we used to have a crocodile, which would have been perfect for this. I'm going to use my pricky tool. I'm going to pierce a hole in the bottom there. Okay. Now I want a tuft of ribbon to be on the outside of my box. So I like to just get my pricky tool, and I'm just going to push that ribbon through that hole in the box and get hold of the other side. I do have a Japanese screw punch that I would use for my own personal use, but we don't have, Stampin' Up don't sell that. I'm just gripping that together and just pushing that through the little hole. Because it's a sharp point, what it's actually doing is poking through the centre of the ribbon. So there I have a little tuft of ribbon coming through nicely on there, and you can adjust that to make sure it's nice and flat, and also that it's sitting nicely. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is put another piece of tear and tape either side. I want this to be nice and flat, so I don't want a knot. I want to piece that side. We're going to do like the old-fashioned paper fasteners used to do, and I'm going to take, just to remove that, it doesn't matter if any adhesive will be showing, so I'm going to put one piece down flat that way, and then I'm going to take the other piece off here and do the other piece going that way. So because of how I've done those, they're going to be nice and flat. If there's any adhesive showing, it really doesn't matter, because that's the middle of my box. And this is going to be the piece that fastens on here. Because it's ribbon, it will go nice and flat for you to squish that on. So again, I'm going to use my Tombow, run around here like so. How are we doing? 13 minutes. There we go. We're not bad. Now we're just trying to get this as near the center as we can. So we're looking all the way around the sides of the boxes to the edge of the box here to make sure that we can see all those edges, and good old Tombow coming back to the middle, just to press on that really securely. For this I do tend to have the one that's in my little jam pot here to use, because it's storing it upside down in a mini jam jar, and then I have a separate one with the lid on so I don't get the glue everywhere. So that's pressing on there nice and firmly. We'll take everything away, we'll get our little lid, and we're going to put the little lid onto the box. And we are at 14 minutes. So there we go. The reason I had a bit of a challenge, because we were posting on our UK page, the demonstrator page, as to projects that thinking outside the box that only took 15 minutes. So I've got a few minutes over that, and I did an introduction, and I've got a few seconds here at the end here to finish. Okay, so I hope you liked my little video today, and that's how you make a cute little origami box for Christmas, or any occasion, absolutely anything. Okay, thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you again here soon. Bye for now.